All right, everybody, welcome to Football Psyche. This is Coach Mad Mike, and I have a special guest on today. His name is Alex, also a Washington Commanders fan, and we are looking forward to just having a great conversation this morning. Welcome, Alex, to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to talking some shop.
All right, let's do it. So, hey, first of all, we met each other last week on a cruise, Wonder of the Sea, and both wearing the same kind of hat, same cool. Struck up a conversation. This was kind of a neat thing, and love to always meet fellow Commanders fans because I run into Cowboys fans, Eagles fans, Giants fans, and they all drive me absolutely freaking nuts.
Yeah, I want to avoid those guys.
yeah, at all costs, right? So anyway, hey, I wanted to ask you some questions here, just from your fan perspective out there, and what do you think of is probably in your best estimate the greatest offseason acquisition we probably had so far?
So when it comes to next season and bringing on new folks, I think a lot of it is going to focus around the new schemes that Dan Quinn is going to be bringing to the squad. And a lot of that focuses on some of his defensive strategy. And from what I've read, he's running like a 3-4 hybrid scheme with basically a lot of down, the first three linemen up front are designed to take on all the offensive line, basically to let the linebackers eat. And so that's why I think the most important addition so far this offseason has been our two stud new linebackers, which is going to be Frankie Louvu from the Carolina Panthers, who a lot of people don't know about, but he was a captain last year on that team. He never came off the field. And, I think he just has like a ton of room to get better. So I'm really excited about him. And obviously Bobby Wagner from Seattle. Like you can't overstate the impact that he is going to have on not only the linebacking core but the defense as a whole. Everybody over on that Seahawks team talked about him as not only like a great player on the field but like a great player off the field. So potential impacts on guys like Jamin Davis and some of those guys that still have room to grow on the defense. I think both Louvu and Wagner are going to have tremendous impacts.
Alex, I couldn't agree with you more. Now I'm a little cautious, about this 3-4 kind of hybrid kind of approach because we have Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. I want to keep them both on the field, and they're just true defensive tackles, and it's going to be interesting to see how they play that a little bit. But we do have some edge rusher issues, and it seems like we probably handled a little bit, but I don't think we're done yet. What do you think?
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that I was thinking about in terms of if we could have a couple things back over not only this offseason, but kind of like last year too. Like Montez Sweat, I think would have fit that role
Absolutely.
really well.
Greatest loss, I think. It hurt.
I mean, I think he's the first person ever to lead two teams in sacks in a single season. He led the Bears and he led the Commanders. So that tells you that because what they want in that scheme, what they want that person to be is somebody who's capable of being like a good linebacker, to pursue and make tackles sideline to sideline, but also cause havoc in the backfield. And he has shown the ability to do both. Yeah, I think that's a tremendous loss for us when it comes.
Yeah. So do you think that that's probably the greatest loss that we've had in this offseason, or are you thinking somebody else?
Yeah, technically it was last season, but yeah.
Yeah, it was prior to week 8, obviously. But
yeah, definitely. I think that when you again going back to the Dan Quinn scheme of the down three and then this fourth hybrid, basically linebacker / pursuit guy. There's a specific name they have for it in his package. It's like Wolf or something like that. But he would have been that prototypical guy on the field, and I think that definitely could have had that one back. It's interesting.
Think about like the biggest actual loss that we had this particular offseason.
So a lot of people might think Antonio Gibson
Mhm.
which I was not that big of an Antonio Gibson guy. And a lot of people might say Cam Curl, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I think we, even though his contract wasn't as big as I think he was thinking, I think he's replaceable, Cam Curl. I think where it gets interesting is in the last couple days with the meetings here in Orlando and the new kickoffs protocol has been announced. I'm wondering if the kicker game is now going to be more important than ever.
Mhm.
So uh, uh, I, I actually was just researching this the other day, and we let Joey Sly walk.
Yes, we
Uh,
did. We picked
so
up a new
Brandon,
kicker, and yeah, I was a huge Joey Sly fan. I don't understand why we got rid of him. He was amazing.
I would agree with you. I think that some people thought statistically he was not um, achieving the statistical averages that you want production from a kicker. But these new kickoff rules, I think they're gonna send some teams sideways. There's getting the ball into the end zone and through the end zone. I don't think correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there are fair catches allowed. So if the
There's not
ball
no fair catches allowed on the kickoffs. That's correct.
r- right. And so, like, short kickoffs are now returnable, and the way that the teams are lined up, it looks like these returns are going to be a lot more dynamic. And
Mhm.
so, I think a stronger leg is beneficial. And to my recollection, Sly definitely had a cannon for a leg. Um, McManus, I think, is a little bit higher on the statistical performance, but I don't think the leg is quite as strong there. So a lot of people might not think of kicker as a big loss in the offseason, but with the new rules, definitely going to be a wrinkle for this
Yeah,
upcoming season.
absolutely, and it's gonna be interesting to see if kickers just kick out the end zone, just take the extra 5 yards to say, hey, you can have it in the 30 instead of the 25, or do they go ahead and try to play with this thing? If you want to check it out as well as other fans who are watching this channel, you really want to do it. Look at some of the videos that the XFL was doing
Yeah,
because that was the system that they were running. And so you get a pretty good idea. And if you got a quick explosive returner, he can get past the 30, but you got to have your blocking down, and if it gets penetrated early, since they're all jumbled up like that, it could be a kind of a wrecking situation. In which case, it's going to be interesting to watch watch the analytics on this as it develops. If kickers just don't just kick it out the back of the end zone, which Joey Sly had that leg, uh,
yeah.
but uh, but yeah, we'll see, right? So, all right, so we got to get to the draft, man, because we're in that lag period. We're there. This is the period
Yep.
that I don't necessarily really
So
like.
close.
It's just slow, and I don't get really excited about top 30 visits. I'm sorry, because there's
Yeah.
not even a workout that happens in that, right? They just go there and they're like speed dating or whatever. But anyway, what do you think we're gonna do at number two, my friend?
So, I mean, I think with Marcus Mariota being the only real functional quarterback on the depth chart, I think there's a second quarterback on there. I was looking the other day.
Yeah,
There's
there's
a second
Fromm.
quarterback on there. Jake Fromm. Is that who it
Yeah,
is?
Jake Fromm. Yeah.
Yeah, from Georgia. Mariota is I don't think Fromm probably will not make the roster, but with the quarterback being Mariota on there, it's telegraphed that we will take a quarterback in this year's draft. So obviously, all the media points to us at number two, um, uh, with uh, with the choice of either Drake May or Jaden
Or Jaden
Daniels from
Daniels,
LSU,
or
and,
yeah.
and so and so I've gone back and forth on it. I think a lot of people have,
Hmm.
and I just think that right now Daniels is the best fit for us for this team. I don't think you can make the choice in a vacuum. A lot of people think that May has the higher ceiling, career-wise ceiling, and that may be true. But to me, it just seems like to achieve that ceiling, he needs a certain set of circumstances. I think. Uh, Whereas Jaden Daniels, I think his athleticism just jumps off the screen, and his ability to make plays with his legs with our offensive line in the condition that it is. I think that Daniels is the best fit for us to start winning games now.
Yeah, and I got a chance to watch a lot of his pro day
Mhm.
film footage this morning, and
Yep.
he looked pretty solid. He went from 52 to 56 completions. A couple of those is he had some receivers save him on a couple of those passes, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but I mean he looked solid. He just looked really really solid. And and one of the things I look for is actually look for a quarterback not to be perfect in their pro day because it's so scripted anyway. I actually want them to miss a pass, and then I want to see what they do on the very next pass, right? And I think he handled
Sure.
himself pretty well. So we'll see. I mean, we got a month to go. I think JJ McCarthy's stock kind of went up a little bit.
Yeah.
Drake's is dropping a little bit. So I think
Yep.
it gives options if we kind of want to trade back, but I don't think we should get too cute. I think we just need to figure out which guy we want and we just take him. What do you think?
Mhm. Yeah, I think the move is Jaden Daniels at number 2. But I spent the last couple of days thinking about like what happens if somebody makes us an offer that we can't refuse, right? Like what happens if there's New England that wants to jump up or somebody that just like I said makes us an offer that we can't refuse? What about those like second level quarterbacks?
Mhm.
I think JJ probably, although he's getting a little bit of hype right now, I think JJ is probably the top tier quarterback of the second tier. And I tell you, Penix, he, despite his injury history, there's always something in the back of my head that says he's going to be a steal. He's going to be a steal in this draft. If he can stay upright, he might be the best passer out of all these guys.
Yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting to watch. And you bring up a very compelling point, because to go back to New England, you're only dropping one spot. So if you kind of are on the fence about a couple of different guys, why not pick up an extra draft pick or two, right? And let them pick who they're going for, and then you do it. Like if you like JJ McCarthy, for example, or you like Drake May, and you think that if New England moves up, that they're going to take Jaden Daniels or
Yeah.
whatever, right? I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff that goes on there. One thing I'm pretty sure we're not going to do is we're not going to trade up to number one. I don't see
No,
that happen.
no, I think that's the time for that has passed. And I
Yeah,
think that the Jaden Daniels ascension here in the last couple months has kind of talked us off of that point. I think we're good at 2. I think that there's too many. The team has too many problems
right.
too many problems with the roster to afford giving away draft picks for not that much more value from what I perceive from the
Yeah.
difference between number 1 and number
So
2.
overall, in the offseason so far, how would you kind of grade the team? How do you feel? How do you feel like Adams has done as far as all the offseason moves? If you were to
Yeah,
grade them,
I would grade them as a B plus. I think that
all right.
the linebacker moves is sorely missed. I think
Mhm.
that we have been stingy, not handing out big contracts, letting guys walk like Antonio Gibson and Cam Curl that we think are replaceable at a better value. The only thing that I think would keep us from achieving that A grade would be, the leadership on the offensive side of the ball. Like we need to get this quarterback situation figured out because I mean, ever since Kirk Cousins left town, it has just been an abject disaster. I mean,
Alex, I
last
got to
time we drafted
absolutely agree with you there. It
the
has,
last
and we've been struggling in that department actually even long before him.
yeah, yeah, and the last time we drafted a quarterback in the first round, Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace. He had a tough
Yep.
go of it. The whole Alex Smith thing,
Right.
and
Project
just
11.
yeah, yeah. And Heineke, the Heineke controversy, him coming in and almost beating Tampa in the playoffs that one game. It's just a
Yep.
complete roller coaster ride since that 2012 draft
I
with
tell you what,
Robert
though, I
and
really like Sam Howell. I don't know. I'm still. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but like, I don't know. There's a piece of me that would have rather kept Sam Howell over Marcus Mariota. I don't really understand the move as much. Do you? What are your thoughts on that?
I look at that as a clean slate. I honestly think of it as a clean slate type of move. I don't think there was too much of a calculation of the value or the comparison between these two guys. I look at it as, um,
Just both guys getting a new fresh start kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And successful organizations have a thing where there's a couple of people that are like the most important people. It's like the owner, the GM, the head coach, and the quarterback. And if you can, the
right.
more of those that you can get set, the better off you are. And I just think in order to try and line all those power positions up, they just, you know, cut Sam and traded Sam to just kind of get a clean slate there. And you know, I do think that he can play a little bit. Sam can play a little bit.
Oh,
He's
he
not a
definitely can.
complete he's
I
not
actually
a
think
complete
Seattle got a
bum.
steal on that one.
What's that?
I actually think Seattle got a steal on that one. I think he's gonna do fantastic there.
Yeah, and you can uh the whole Geno Smith thing last year, his sudden ascension took everybody by surprise. So we'll see if there's a regression from Geno and Sam gets a crack over there. But I think Pete Carroll will have him ready.
Yep. So, all right, everybody. I hope everybody liked Alex being on the show here today. Alex, it was an absolute pleasure having you on here.
Yep.
If you're up for it, I wouldn't mind bringing you back another time.
Yeah.
This was outstanding. And for those of you who are looking at this show, please like and subscribe to this channel. We like to be able to bring more people in. Stay in touch with us because we would love to have other people on the show as well. But Alex, you seem to be a keeper for us, so you might be one we come back to regularly. And so, hey, thank you for being
Yep.
part of the show.
Yep. Anytime. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
All right, you take care now.